Campbell and Annie Lennox for Cultaholic Wrestling. Did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get it?
They don't get it.
I think you should tell the story.
Right, this morning I trod on a light bulb. Got out of the shower, walked upstairs. Somehow I changed the light bulb in a lamp yesterday, and it must have knocked off onto the floor and then crunch. And my foot is a bloody mess. Right
It's a bloody mess.
It's like Home Alone. That's what my morning looked like. Got in the Uber, spilled coffee all over myself as well as he moved off.
Days.
Oh, it's been a good morning. It's been a great morning.
Do you know what? How about some wrestling news?
Oh, that'll cheer me up.
Thought it might. Vince McMahon reportedly ripped up the script for Monday Night Raw. A WWE legend made his AEW debut last night, and Goldberg has responded to negative feedback following Super ShowDown. We'll get to that in a bit. So Monday Night Raw was a bit of a mixed bag, wasn't it? It was some good stuff.
Yeah, there was some not so good stuff. Sorry, Ricochet.
I feel like that is down to one man. One McMahon.
It's always down to this one McMahon.
It's Linda.
If only. Come back, save us, Y2L.
Y2L!
I don't know what that is. Right, so we've got news from the Wrestling Observer. Brian Alvarez noting that even with the XFL being a thing, Vince is still very much hands-on with the show, even when he's not backstage. He was backstage on Monday, didn't like what was planned, so ripped up the whole thing and rewrote the whole show.
You can't imagine on any other TV show where this sort of thing happens. Because Raw is a TV show. Like, you take, for example, The Big Bang Theory, when it was on.
Yeah, I'm glad it's not anymore.
Yeah. But
I like the theme song. Shout out to Bare Naked Ladies. Carry on.
Nice. But imagine, like, if you go, hey, we've written the episode of The Big Bang Theory this week, and then the exec producer comes in and goes, it's rubbish, start again.
It's a weird thing because Raw's, it's so different. WWE TV is so different to every other TV show, and that they are typically writing right up until the show starts. That's not the most sensible way of doing things, obviously. But when you've got somebody interfering, it affects the performances of everyone. I think that's what people don't talk about here, is that when these things change, some of the guys have already been briefed on what they're doing, and then they have to change like their promos or what's going on in the matches and all this stuff. And I do think it affects things.
And also, it's Vince McMahon who's making the changes. And historically, I mean, Vince McMahon has been responsible for some of the big wrestling moments. Let's not deny that.
Guy's a genius.
But he's also been responsible for some absolute blunders and some misfires over the years. And I feel like his hit ratio is not as strong as it used to be.
I don't want to say out of touch, but a little bit out of touch sometimes. Would you agree?
A little bit out of touch, a little bit out of time. Without a shadow of a doubt. I feel like he needs to, I mean, like, he has taken a bit more of a step back overall. Like, Paul Heyman has been doing a lot more stuff on Raw now, and you can tell, you can see the fingerprints. But then when Vince every so often just comes in and goes, don't like it. This is why we don't get, we said this on the podcast this morning, this is why we don't get like that powerful long-term booking anymore, I don't think. Because you have got these shows that are written, and then at the last minute things can be changed, and all of a sudden, like, a direction which is normally straight up like that, can go, oh, no, we're going this way now, we're going that way now. You don't get that long-term planning anymore because of stuff like this.
Absolutely. There's an interesting note here saying that the reason that the final segment was so great was because Vince McMahon had very little to do with it, and that was the responsibility of other writers on the show, including Paul Heyman.
That was a great last segment.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, without a doubt.
We don't know whether Vince will be at SmackDown on Friday. I guess it depends what he's up to.
I don't know.
He might have
he's a busy boy, isn't he? He's got football to worry about.
Hopefully he'll be worrying about football. So who turned up at AEW Dynamite last night? Was it Matthew Hardy? Was it Lance Archer? Was it Brody Lee? Was it the Denver Broncos? Was it Vera from Off of Vera? None of those. The surprise for Dynamite last night was not only a genuine surprise, but it was an absolute treat as well.
So fantastic. Please welcome to AEW, Jake the Snake Roberts. And let me tell you, he's not Mr. B. One of the best promos of the year. And there's been some great promos already, especially in AEW, but Jake is still so fantastic. For my money, he's one of the best promo guys ever. He's like top 5, he's up there with Piper, Austin, all the other great wordsmiths. And Jake last night,
it was just winning line after winning line after winning line. Looking at Cody going, "Hail Caesar, I'm not here to praise you, I'm here to slay you."
something about his voice, isn't there?
It's that raspy 40 a day.
So lovely.
It's just like, and he sounds raspier and 40 a dayer than he's ever sounded, and it just works. So Jake the Snake talked about a client that he was bringing into AEW. Talked about the dark side coming to AEW to burrow into the ground and rise like a phoenix from the ashes. The client for Jake Roberts, surely Lance Archer or Brody Lee?
Yeah, I think it's going to be Brody. Those two seem to fit together so bloody well, don't they? And Brody's not a bad talker. He's certainly no Jake the Snake Roberts, but Brody with a mouthpiece as well, a sinister, horrible mouthpiece like Jake the Snake. Yes, please. I imagine John Moxley's very happy to see him. Do you remember when Jake came back and he put the snake on, it was Moxley at the time, well, Ambrose at the time, I guess. He put the snake on him and he was laid out in the ring and you could just see him smiling and like that on Raw. One of the retro Raws it was. So fantastic. I love Jake the Snake Roberts. So good to see him back. I want to see him hit a DDT.
And also, yes please. And also, so good to see him looking well.
Oh, he looks fantastic.
He's been through the ringer over the last couple of decades. If you haven't watched it yet, The Resurrection of Jake the Snake is an amazing documentary which shows Jake being resurrected essentially. But this is a really great fit for AEW. Yeah. Really great. I think, do you know what? It's another one of those weeks, and I feel like such a shill or an anti-shill, I guess, for saying this as the NXT guy. I think it was another great week for AEW.
Yeah, it was, and that's fine.
You know,
that's fine. Just because you cover NXT, Tom,
which I love doing, and it's a great episode of NXT this week. We'll do more about it in Graded.
Lots of cage
bookended cage matches. We'll talk about it on Graded in a little while. But for me, like, I've been a wrestling fan since I was like a kid, since like the 80s, because I am that old. And Jake the Snake Roberts was always one of those guys that, whilst he wasn't the champion, there was something so cool about
him. Never held a single title, did he?
No.
In WWE. Never needed to.
Didn't need to.
Never needed to.
There was something so cool about him. You know, it was, and also he looks a bit like my Uncle Alan, so that's good.
That's
as well.
handy, isn't it?
Always
Shout
handy.
out to Uncle Alan.
Big
I saw him when I was
Uncle Alan?
Yeah, I saw him at Ride Ice Arena. Uncle Alan was headlining that show. No, I saw Jake when I was about 6 years old. Got a picture with a snake. There's a Polaroid somewhere kicking about.
Find it. 2 matches set for SmackDown on Friday night. One of them is a rematch from t'other week.
It is Bayley and Sasha Banks teaming up to take on Naomi and Lacey Evans. Rematch. It was weird to see Sasha come back and then immediately lose, so I would assume that Bayley and Sasha are going to pick up the win here. I don't really care.
Does this start? The only thing I can think of, really, to make me somewhat care, does this start the journey to WrestleMania for Bayley and Banks?
Yeah, you would assume so. It still feels a bit rushed, doesn't it?
A little bit rushed.
I think out of all of the people involved, now I would still rather see Naomi take that spot, but she's just lost at Super ShowDown because of her T-shirt. There's another match announced, Tom. What's that?
We have got a 6-man tag ahead of the SmackDown Tag Team Championship Elimination Chamber match. It's going to be The Miz and John Morrison taking on
The New Day.
The New Day,
the Usos, Heavy Machinery, Luke House Party,
Dolph Ziggler and Roman
It's basically all the teams that are in the Elimination Chamber. It's a gauntlet match. The winning team gets to come in to the Chamber match last, giving them the advantage.
I said it was a tag match. I am the wrong. So what Adam said is the right.
It's okay. So yeah, I don't really like the idea that somebody gets an advantage. Like, it makes most sense here for a heel team to win it and get the advantage for sure. Maybe even Miz and Morrison, actually.
I love the idea of a heel team getting the advantage in the chamber. That's the whole thing, isn't it? This is like how in War Games you'll have the match to determine which team.
But I like the fact that it's random. That's, I don't know. There's something about. I like the lights go. Yeah, all right.
It'll still be a match.
Yeah, it's not a match that I'm too excited for anyway. So.
Not a fan of a gauntlet.
No. The tag team chamber match. I think it will be fun. It could be fun, but it's just.
It feels like a weird show on Sunday, doesn't it?
It does. There's nothing big on it. Me and Ben did like a simulation of the full card yesterday. And I was like, oh, okay, what's the biggest match on here? Oh, it's the Women's Championship. What else is there? Oh, it's not the Women's Championship. It's the
Women's Chamber match.
What else is on here? Not a lot. But have fun reacting to it, Tom. I hope it's good. Hey, maybe Undertaker will turn up and save the day.
Maybe I might lose this. I don't want to lose this,
Probably will.
I'll break it for
Predictions tonight.
Yes, predictions on the YouTube channel later on between myself and Ross Twaddle, and the punishments. The all-important punishments. You'll find out them later on. You're next! Not my words, the words of a very aggressive post office clerk. And the words of Goldberg, who was on the bump yesterday. Everybody's favourite Wednesday morning
watch it
chat
every
show.
week. Bloody love the bump.
Do you know what? I do like...
Who watches the bump?
I like it because I quite like Kayla Braxton, who hosts it.
Kayla's great, yeah. I'm not saying there's
crack.
not a lot of talented people on there. It's just it's a weird show.
It's a very peculiar one, but Goldberg popped on it.
He certainly did.
Goldberg.
And he's responded to the criticism that he faced following his capturing of the WWE Universal title at Super ShowDown, beating the Fiend, of course. We all know what happened there. And he said, I'd love to see them do it at any age, let alone 53, responding to that negative fan feedback. I answered a phone call and I did whatever I had to do to get ready in a short period of time and provide a little bit of Goldberg out there.
A little bit of Goldberg in my life.
Fortunately, I was able to do it. And I'm looking forward to the next one, meaning his title defense against Roman at WrestleMania 36. If I get a phone call and I believe that I can still do what I did back in the day, to at least an acceptable level, okay, then I'm not going to say no. If you give me a challenge, I'm going to take it. So he's not really responded to the actual problem here, has he? He's ignored that part.
Well, he just kind of looks at it from his point of view, which I completely respect. Yeah,
like if I was amazing.
If I was Goldberg and Vince rang me and said, "Hiya, pal, here's £1 bajillion. Do you want to be champion?" I'm not going to go, "Oh, I don't know, because AEW fan 1202 on Twitter might not be very happy about it." Like, and that's, I mean, he might have been. I haven't seen his tweet. I haven't seen his tweets in a while. But it's true. Like, you're not going to do something. If someone offers you that, you're not going to turn it down. I wouldn't. And I'm sorry, I wouldn't.
It's not Goldberg's fault, is it? The problem is the damage that it's done to the Fiend's character, without a doubt. It's not what Goldberg's talking about here, and fair play to the guy. The guy's still in fantastic shape. He can still do spears. He can sort of do a jackhammer, but that's not the big issue here. I just hope that Cena versus Wyatt at WrestleMania really fixes the damage that has been done here, and I think it probably will.
Yeah. And also, Goldberg and Reigns at WrestleMania, how you feeling about that?
Couldn't care less, honestly.
Wow.
No, I just don't. You know what? It's fine. I just feel like it's a tainted match because of what happened at Super ShowDown, so I'm struggling to get excited about it. I don't mind Reigns winning the Universal title, whatever, being the top guy on SmackDown. That's fine, I guess. But it was just, I was so into the Fiend as a character. It just bothered me a lot.
When he says an acceptable level, I'm just curious as to how he gauges that. Do you reckon he watches the match back and then looks at the jackhammer that he hits, takes out a tape measure, and if it exceeds a certain height, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We'll crack on. If it gets under a certain level, any lower than the one he did on the Fiend, then he'll go, "Nah, I'll give a year. I'll miss it. I'll miss out for a year."
It was my favourite hammerplex of all time. That one.
I started calling it the sad hammer.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that.
Have a happy Thursday.
Have a hammy happy Thursday.
Have a hammy happy Thursday.
Happy holiday.